So Georgina was 30 when she went missing, and she simply vanished off the streets of Worthing in West Sussex in the UK. It was morning in the seaside town, so broad daylight, and we're talking about Wednesday, March the 7th of 2018. The weather was dry with some scattered clouds. It was a good day. You know, there was no kind of awful weather or any kind of reason. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you for everyone for helping with the gift girl. There was just literally nothing to explain where she went. So let's give you a bit of background. So this is Georgina here. As you can see, she's got a bit of a smile on her face. It's a local shop to her and her family. She's going in. It's Clifton Food and Wine in Clifton Road in Worthing. She's captured on CCTV entering the shop. And the shopkeeper, thank you, Danny. The shopkeeper does confirm that Georgina comes in. She speaks to him about a phone. She asks him about a SIM card, and he does advise her then to go to the local phone shop instead. And as far as we can establish, this is the last time anyone spoke to or heard or saw Georgina. We have no more information. So it seems after she left the shop, she vanished. Absolutely vanished. Now, there is another CCTV image of a woman that looks a lot like Georgina. I personally think it is. Now, lots of people say it's ruled out, the shoes are different, this is different. From the way she had her hair here, the fur on her coat, etc., I personally I can't rule it out. Personally, I can't rule it out. I do have a picture of it, it's here. So this is taken later on, and it appears to be a woman and Georgina. People said she must have changed her footwear. I don't know if she has or haven't. Georgina is wearing black high-heeled boots in the video in Clifton Road, apparently, but the woman here is wearing flat-heeled tan-coloured boots. I don't know how you can tell they're tan-coloured boots to me. I honestly don't see how you can tell, with the blurriness of this image, how you can tell they're tan-coloured to me. I just don't. So they're saying her coat's a bit different and all of this. Like, to me, I just don't know. Let me get up the original picture here. I don't know what I've done with it now. I've got it on this phone, but I can't put them up together. So, right, this is, let me get up the first image, right? People were saying this here, right, is not Georgina. But, so people go, oh, but that one comes, the coat come up different and stuff. I don't know if I can tell that. They both look about the same length to me. And I just think different cameras, different things. And she's in the daylight there. She's in a shop light here. I just don't think I can rule it out. I think it's her. Yeah, but no bag is. She could be holding the woman's bag. She could literally, the woman could even be carrying her bag there. So she's got a white bag there. So the woman could be carrying her bag for her. Like it just to me, it just doesn't. So the handbag situation, she could have said to the woman, you grab my bag or grab it. We just don't know. We just don't know. So the fur is more on the shoulders there, but who knows that she hasn't pulled it up because she's outside before she's in a shop. Like, that's what I mean. I just can't rule it out. That's what I'm saying. I can't rule it out. Her mum, last time I spoke, did think it was her, but she may have think it's ruled out since I have not spoke to her mum properly about Georgina's case. I check in on her and I go into the live and stuff. But I don't know if she 100% does. I wouldn't like to speak for her. Last time I saw this image, I got it from her mum because then I made a video for her. So I don't know what she thinks now because she may have more information since. So it seems after Georgina left the shop, that was the last proper sighting. However, some people say that this is Georgina. I thought it was very similar body type, the legs type. I think I was looking at the coat, the bottom of the coat. I just think, would I want to have something ruled out if it was me missing simply because I had a black handbag or something? Do you know what I mean? I think, you know, we never know. So she could have gone back to that woman's house and that woman could have gone, have you seen my new handbag? And Georgina would be like, can I borrow it? Because I'm carrying around this just loads of bags of my stuff. It could have been that she'd gone there for a SIM card because her friend had said, yeah, I've got a SIM card, come around and get it or whatever. It could have been that she said to her, oh, can I try on your new shoes or whatever? Yeah, we just don't know. So I would not like to rule it out based on just someone's clothing. I think the hair was exactly the same, like the way she had it up in like a loose like bun. I think this is what I mean about it. That's a really good point, because I forgot to say that. This woman has never come forward. Neither of the women, right? And this has been put out on national appeals. It's been on Crime Stop. It's been all over everywhere. It's been on every internet page, true crime pages. Why would you not come forward and go, now it's me and my daughter shopping? So I'm going to tell you about the last time Andrea saw her daughter in her own words, because I think that's the best way to do it. So I last saw George, as we call her, downstairs on the home in the morning of 7th of March. She was sitting on the floor doing her hair and I was getting ready for work. It must have been 7:30 or 7:45. She said she had some things to do in town and she had to go to the job centre that day. Her phone wasn't working, so I gave her mine to get a SIM card for, which is where the story of her being in the phone shop comes from, which obviously the last shop she went in, Clifton Wine, her mum means. And that was it. She asked me for a couple of pounds. She said, see you later. And that's the last time I spoke or saw her. It didn't surprise me when she wasn't there in the evening, because she'd recently split up with her boyfriend. So had come back to live with me a month before and had spent most of the previous week at his house. So I didn't think anything of it for the last couple of days. I'd sent her messages, but Georgina is a type to send her messages in the middle of the night. And when I didn't hear back, we all assumed she was with her ex. That's how my daughters and I saw it. It didn't come into my mind that she was missing or that anything had happened to her. Each day we'd casually ask each other, you heard from George today? But we didn't think anything of it. It wasn't until 5 or 6 days since she was last seen that her boyfriend contacted me and asked if I'd heard from her. And I said, no, I thought she was at your house. He said he hadn't seen her for 10 days. I really didn't know what to say. My initial thought was maybe she met someone else. She had lots of friends, ex-boyfriends who she was still friends with, and sometimes she'd have drinks with people. That's normal for her, so I just thought she'd done that. I know they hadn't had a good month having split up, so I didn't know what to say to him. So the question, yeah, that's it, Dolly. I don't know if anyone in here can answer if the woman walking with her in that picture is that near the job centre, because I know Georgina's plans that day. She was going to go to the job centre, and then she had plans to meet someone for lunch, I believe. I think it might have been her dad. And at that point, she just disappeared. We have no reason, Lucy, to believe that it's the drug world that she's involved in. She was a casual smoker of a tiny bit of weed. We don't know if it's not involved to something else. We will talk a bit about that later on, but at this moment in time, we just know she's a missing person, and it's been a long, long time. Not near the job centre, thank you. So it was 10 days before Georgina was reported missing, which Andrea says that she regrets. But I completely understand it. I completely understand it because Georgina was in a transitional period of her life right then, and Georgina was 30, right? And at the times when it wasn't her time to have her son, she had no need to have a stable base. So she would be at a friend's house, she'd be at her ex-boyfriend's house, she'd be out and about. She wasn't a big texter. Sometimes I don't text back sometimes. So I understand that it was kind of like, she's just living life. There was no need to be concerned. Thank you, Sarah. So this is her mum here, a picture of Andrea with her daughter. She just goes live on here all the time to talk about Georgina. Absolutely just, she's just waiting for the lead to come forward. But I will actually give you her actual TikTok page in a minute, but just give me a second. So all we know is Georgina is very outgoing. She is very friendly. She has some anxiety problems around people she doesn't know, but she knows a lot of people locally. She knows a lot of people in Worthing. She knows a lot of people further afield than that. She kind of is very sociable. Now, Andrea says of her daughter, she'll talk to anyone. She'll make friends with anyone, and that worries me because I know how friendly and personable she is. She accumulates friends wherever she goes. She gets quite excitable too. Once she gets something on her mind, she'll keep on and on about it. Now, so we literally have not a lot after this. Now, there are some tips, there are some leads, there's some things going on. We know there have two kind of possible sightings of Georgina. So one of them was, and these are on the evening of the 7th, right? One of them was her accompanied by two men outside of the local Tesco in Tarring Road in Worthing between 7 and 8 p.m. And then later on, there is somebody sees two men dragging her on a Broadwater Bridge. She did have bulimia. I just talked about that a little bit earlier, but I don't. Currently, at the time she went missing, I don't see how that could be anything to do with her missing. So, I believe these sightings, and because they're the only thing I can really make sense of. And although we can't confirm them, now what has happened with these sightings have been very odd. So a girl came forward, a local girl, and said that she had seen these two men locally, which I believe she named, as dragging Georgina across the bridge. Then she gave the tip to Andrea, Georgina's mum. So Georgina's mum then contacted the police, who went to interview this woman who said, I never said it. Maybe out of fear or whatever. So then later on, about a year later, this woman posts a massive post on Facebook and says, I saw Georgina Gharsallah. She was last with these two men. They were dragging along the bridge. And she has this up. She's already blocked Andrea and everything. So Andrea's mum, Andrea, screenshots it, one of her friends does, and sent it to Andrea. Now Andrea then takes it to the police, and the woman says, I didn't even post that. I didn't do it. So she's had like backs and forth with this woman for years saying, yes, I saw it. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. I think this is very important because we'll get into that in a minute. Hang on. So Sussex police, let's start this first. They have failed Georgina terribly. So from the minute she went missing, there was no kind of drive. The police's attitude is kind of like, we started this 10 days after she went missing, so we don't really want to, we're already behind, so we're not going to really bother. Andrea asked them to collect all the CCTV locally to try to trace the movements of her daughter. They failed to do so, and by the time they collected it all, it was gone. So we may never know now what happened to Georgina. The police have failed to keep in contact with the family or update them into what they're doing. These are Andrew's own words. We'd email the police. They say they would contact if they knew anything. Even if they didn't have anything, they should have updated us regularly. After 6 months, they gave us a family liaison officer. After 6 months. The police said we were taking up too much of their time by emailing them, even though I only sent 3 emails a week. I thought the family liaison officer would be easier to contact, but it was harder because there were 2 of them. Their shifts were unpredictable. 7 months on, so this was age given. She said 7 months on, there's still no new leads, nothing at all. The search is at a complete standstill. There's no proper searches being done. We haven't had any CCTV. When she came out of the shop, she turned right and was never seen again. I do know that even like it happened a couple of years ago where the police had kind of spoke to Andrea and said, like, you got to stop phoning us, stop this, stop contacting us. You're taking up so much time. Like, you just all the time. It's just all the time. And Andrea was just like, my daughter's missing. Her 2 sons are here. I have to be able to tell them where their mum is. Like, I just want to know where my daughter is. From what I understand, there's never been any massive police searches. The police, like, we've got nothing to go on, so they've kind of done nothing. There hasn't been the normal things, like, say, when Nicola Bulley went missing, when police were, like, searching here, there, everywhere, in rivers, in lakes. There hasn't been the same kind of response for Georgina. And I sometimes wonder about why that is. So the police did search the homes of Andrea and of her ex-partner, of Georgina's ex-partner. There was a search made of her bank and mobile phone accounts. The police said after 3 long weeks of Georgina being reported missing, the investigation was declared suspicious. And they've always said it's suspicious, which means third-party involvement, right? But yet still nothing has really happened. In 2020, Georgina's family made an official complaint to the then newly appointed Sussex Police Chief Constable, Georgina. Specific issues were noted, such as failing to collect the CCTV. Some of that footage is lost forever. Yeah, I follow her mum. Her mum follows me. I've interviewed her before. So we have a few possibilities. And I remember, obviously, when I interviewed Andrea, I kind of said, do you think Georgina's still out there? And she said, no, I don't. I think that she was probably murdered because as a mum, she knows her own daughter and she knows she would have come home if she could. Georgina was not the type of mum to just leave her children for 8 years. She just was not the type of mum to not check in with her mum, with her dad, with her sisters. She wasn't just going to leave. And I always listen to mums in these cases because I do believe we know when our children are in danger. We know when our children are alive. We know when something more has happened. And I honestly don't believe Georgina's still out there living her life. I just don't. When we look at kind of the things that could have happened, so there's obviously suicide. I don't see this to be worth considering in Georgina's case. We have no reason to believe that she was seen with bags that day. She had a plan. I do believe, Megan, that may be a thing. I do believe there is a chance where if she is alive, that is her situation. So I'm just going through what it could be now. So obviously one of it could be that, and no body has ever been found, right? And in suicide, it's very hard to commit suicide and hide your body. There is obviously abduction and murder, meaning maybe Georgina had upset some people and paid with her life. There's also that she chose to escape and just go away, but her mum says this isn't likely to be the outcome because she would have come home for her sons. Now, something that come up in I think it's Footsteps of a Killer that recently did a programme on Georgina Gharsallah. They mentioned a takeaway that Georgina had been working in, a kebab shop, that actually was being used as a front to launder money and to sell drugs. I believe Georgina may have had information that she shouldn't have had. I don't think she was selling drugs for anyone. I don't think she was being used that way because she was still borrowing a quid here and a quid there off her mum. I believe that maybe that was through working in that shop. So she never worked there. So that Footsteps of a Killer's not right. That when they were saying that she was in there all the time and she worked there. That's not right. I'm so glad you're in a Midlands chap because you have all the information. So that's not true. That's what I was going to ask. I'm glad you're in here actually. So that programme's not true. He will reply to us something. That's what I was wondering. I want to. I was waiting for him to reply. I don't know if it's going to get ghosted in here. Okay, well that maybe that's not a thing then. If she didn't. So let me. This is an article from today. Yesterday, sorry. So this is from the BBC. I fear never knowing what happened to my daughter. It says. The mother of a woman missing for 8 years says she fears dying without ever knowing what happened to her daughter. Georgina Gharsallah was last seen in Worthing, West Sussex on the 7th of March 2018. So it was her father she arranged to meet for lunch. So I was right about that after she was supposed to go to job centre. Some days I think I'm never going to see Georgina again. It's overwhelming. Let's have a look. Gharsallah revealed that ahead of the 8th anniversary, she'd been putting up missing posters, and you guys have said you've seen the new posters, right, on the Broadwater Bridge. In an area where initial sightings of her have been reported, every year I place existing banners with ones which update how long Georgina's been missing. I usually do on her birthday in October as well. I put ribbons on them. One lady contacted me the other day and said her young daughter would always call it Georgina's Bridge now. So that has become something significant. Gharsallah added that while she tries to live in hope, her worst fear is to die without having those answers. And the police, and then I saw a police had done a report as well. Let me have a look. I think Midlands chap, if you're typing, it's not coming through. So Sussex police say it's desperate to bring closure to the family of a missing Worthing woman as it marks the 8th year of her disappearance. I care deeply about Georgina, said the senior investigating officer. 8 years is an incredibly long time for a family to be without their loved one. As an investigator to still search for answers to the family, we're trying to bring them closure. It's not too late for someone to come forward with crucial information. We're certainly at a time where we have fewer investigative opportunities than we did at the start, but it continues to be the case that we review all of the information. Georgina's mum said in the beginning it was hoping Georgina was going to come home and turn up. Now it seems like a big hope to hold on to. Right, so this is where at the point of Georgina basically went into that phone shop on the 7th of March 2018 and then disappeared. I do think that only somebody can come forward now. There are people out there that know what happened to Georgina. I don't think it's one person that knows. I think there are a group of people out there that know what happened to Georgina Gharsallah who know where she is now. I like when we talked about earlier, the only way I can think of Georgina being alive is probably if she's been trafficked into a bad situation, because she had 2 sons, she would have come home. There is nothing to think that Georgina just disappeared. Somebody knows something, and it takes that person to come forward and to give that information. It's very similar kind of, have they checked through it? I don't know if any massive police searches have ever been done for Georgina. I've never been aware of like a new massive search happening, or, you know, from what we understood, because they said they didn't know where she went from the phone shop, they didn't have an area to search, so they just didn't. So if anyone has the information, you can contact 101 and quote Operation Pavo, which is P-A-V-O, sorry, or you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously. And I would ask, no big area searches. I would ask just that you have it in your heart to to think about Andrea, to think about her mum and this 8 years that I've absolutely lived with her every single day, and to think about her 2 sons who need to know what happened to their mum. They need to know that she didn't just walk off and leave them, that she didn't make a choice to, that she wanted to come home, and to think about the 8 Christmases, the 8 birthdays, the 8 Easters, the 8 everything that they've spent without their mum. And just, at the very least, reach out to Andrea, reach out to Crime Stoppers, do it anonymously, make a fake account, but give that information. You cannot live with this information and not say it and just expect to go on and have a normal life. This will stay with you, that will eat away at your soul. It is time. It is time. So I believe her ex had his house searched. I believe he was on that Footsteps of a Killer, where he kind of made himself sound really charming and like he never would have done anything at any point. I don't know, because I would like to say that in most cases, when something happens to a woman, the ex-partner or current partner is irresponsible. I would just like to know these people get thoroughly investigated and ruled out properly. And in Georgina's case, I really feel like a really lax investigation has been done. And even if you look at the bridge tip, I do believe there's some significance in that. I believe Andrea probably does as well, which is why she chooses to put the banners there. And I think it just takes for the right people to come forward and see and say what they saw. Sometimes you have to just forget about everything else and just think about this family who for them this is every single day, and they deserve to have those answers. So this is the case of Georgina Gharsallah, and I just ask that people, please don't leave it to the 9th year, 10th year. Don't let these boys grow into adults never knowing where their mum is.